All right. So, anyways, it's like one of these things. Do I really want to play the first stadium? It's kind of a weird catch-22. Okay, so there we go. The chat finally got connected. It took it a hot minute. My video quality's terrible, but you know what? Oh my god. There it goes. Okay, so finally, yeah, so I finally get something going. It's not the best quality, but it's definitely something to start with. So, I don't know. It's the constant woes that I have of like, I'm gonna have to like, I just gotta bite the bullet and just get new internet. Like, just period. Now I'm just gonna have to sit here and stall. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Just sit here and stall and see what happens. Try to dig out of it. I never even changed my record. There we go. You know, if that's like one thing I can say about this like mega thing is like I don't like the lack of firepower. Like, it's definitely a problem. So it's like, what do I even do here? Like my Apex prize, go figure. Lively Stadium helps. I don't have an energy in the I don't have a way. Like, I need a Pokemon, and I need a Pokemon. Honestly, I'm just gonna scoop because this game is just like awful. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. Like, it's legitimately ridiculous. Well, now that I got this all started, yeah, that was ridiculous. Okay. I'm gonna get my headset. Alrighty. I wish I had like better stances for like the for the avatars in here, so that way like there was a little bit of variety. So I wasn't always like basically playing like the same person basically, and by that I mean like it isn't like their character and my character just don't have the same pose. Like a little bit of variety would go a long way. So there's that. And a lot of like what I'm doing right now is like I'm playing like last format, so there's a lot of stuff that like people are playing that's got the new cards, which is fine because a lot of the stuff like, you know, I feel like not a lot's going to change as far as like what we see. Like this is interesting, but yeah, I don't really think a whole lot changes. You know, just some new stuff pops up. There's like people playing like the dark box with toxicity and all of them, and you know, it's a fine idea. But I played one the other day just for fun, and what do I need in this match? Maybe we need that. They're not going to attack, so I don't need Lively Stadium right away. Of course. At least I got it next turn.
I'm gonna have to use Kangaskhan, try to swing for the fences here. We'll just hide behind Yveltal and just clutch. And then hope that A-Spec and... Well, I don't really need A-Spec now, but let's just hope that...
the Turbo Energize is not prized. Because it's the biggest thing that I've had with it right now is like Turbo Energize being prized or A-Spec being prized. And like without Precious Trolley, like this deck just gets really awkward really fast. I'm gonna change this song. There we go. So there's that. I'm gonna go to a cloak. They still get to retreat because they evolve, which is something that like a lot of people don't understand, especially like newer players, is that like when you evolve, the effects go away. And I had that interesting conversation with somebody who exclusively plays Bondi games, and the Bondi games, like, you know, if you Digivolve or anything like that, like in Digimon, the effects still stay on the Digimon, even if it becomes a different creature. So they thought that was pretty interesting. They were like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. So for me, coming from Pokemon to Digimon, that was something. So there's definitely a learning curve there. It's been a while since I played Digimon on the streams. Probably need to... I should sit down one night and play Digimon again. And I've been trying to make an effort to play it in person, but I just don't have, like, I just don't have the time right now. Like, for lack of a better term, it's just like, it's just a very busy season in my life. I mean, this is the first time I've actually sat down and streamed. I'd say in about 2 weeks, yeah. Other than, like, Wednesday from, like, 2 weeks ago, yeah. Just been trying to get over a cold, and, like, I was sick for about a week. I was sick, well, it was weird. I was, like, sick for about, like, a day, 2 days. And then, like, it took me about a week to get over it. It was an interesting week. I will definitely say that. Okay. So no, I'm not playing that. Definitely need that.
I don't see a lot of Dragapult Blaziken decks very often. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't mean like they're not out there, but I just yeah, I can't remember the last time I've played one. So let's see. Obviously, they're gonna try to go Dragapult this turn. They're gonna go Dragapult this turn. So then I've got to go and I've got to respond. Yeah. I'm gonna have to respond here. I'm not hurting. That's cool. I need to keep the energy on. Well, I can energy switch one off of Absol and we'll put it on Monkey Dory. And then that'll... Well, then maybe it makes sense more... It probably makes more sense to put... Take the energy off Kangaskhan, put it on Monkey Dory. Because then that would be 50, and then I would end up having a situation where all I would have to do is get another energy. Well, no. I'd be one energy short. That's annoying. So now they're just going to throw this back. Yeah, so we got to swing for the fences with Kangaskhan. That's what we got to do. So we'll see what happens here. I should have energy switched. Alright, let's swing for the fences here and see what happens. Alright, 250, whatever. We'll just two-shot him. No big deal here. And even if I did double monk on that, like, it still wouldn't really do much of anything. Yeah, it still wouldn't do much of anything. You know, the more that I play this deck, the more that I sit here and think that, like, it's honestly... Like, I feel like live just doesn't do it any justice. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like live does it justice. Same thing with, like, when I try to play Gardevoir or something. want some Bill Murray. Yeah, the royalty-free music's fine, but there's Spotify list on there. They've got some definite duds on that. Alright, so they are taking an incredibly long time. Oh my goodness, oh, okay. So they're gonna go straight to Blaziken. Interesting. I mean, it's prize denial. It's not bad. So, like, I don't hate it. Yeah, they're honestly. Whoa. Okay. I didn't expect that, but you know what? Okay. That definitely took me by surprise. I don't really need anything right now, do I? I mean, like, what would be my other attacker? I guess it would go... No. Let's run an errand. Grab that. That's tough. Alright, there's a precious trolley. That maybe becomes a Pheasantipity? You know, there's like times like playing this, like I've been playing this periodically throughout the afternoon, and there's times where I'm like, I genuinely want like something like a Terapagos or something where like I can just like energy switch and then put something on there too. I'll tell you another thing too that I want off in one of this is I definitely want a second energy switch. Definitely want a second energy switch. I'm okay with that. Alright. So now my guys will get a boost. Interesting. Hmm.
run errands. Let's see what we got here first. Still gotta take this one out. Well, that's lovely. Well, we're gonna lose 3 prizes either way. Alright, let's see if I can get 2 heads. I don't.
Yeah, this is, yeah, I hate this deck. I hate this deck. Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly I'm just gonna resort to like testing that in person. Yeah, so Mega Box. That is definitely not for me. And and then sometimes that happens. Like, I've had it where, like, I remember, like, back in the day, like, when everybody was playing Blastoise Keldeo, and, like, that was a deck, like, I just, for some reason or another, like, it just didn't mesh with me. And at the end of the day, that is okay. Like, you can have decks that you just don't mesh well with. Alright, so we are going to... Jesus Christ, I have 16 versions of this thing? Oh my god. So, personal request that I was asked today to specifically play some Raging Bolt. And I was like, you know what? Say less. I will happily play some Raging Bolt. Apparently, in Japan, that this is actually still one of the top decks over there, and I mean for good reason. It one-shots Megas, and with the way like their tournaments are played out, like it's like more efficient for it, and it's pretty fast. But you know, everybody over here is crazily obsessed with um, it's crazily obsessed with Gardevoir, so sometimes that just gets in the way of things. But at the same time, you know what? I'm not afraid of Gardevoir. And then just like, especially if I'm seeing more people play Zoroark and more people play Mega Box, I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on. Like, I want to see that. What I don't want to see, though, is an opening hand like this, where I've got my Ace Spec and I've got one of my... well, you know what? Guys, I'm seriously not having a good time right now. This is so bad. Because you just watch me endure 2 really rough games of... Oh my goodness, look. Yeah. And I bet they're going to have Precious Trolley and... Oh, of course they have it. Oh, I'm just speechless right now, guys. Like, we tried 2 games in a row and both times it got prized. And then, yeah. Like, that's an ideal setup. That's so crazy. And then I've just got this hand right here. It's just nothing. Well, I don't really think it's like the end of the world, though, because it's like... That's just ridiculous. And then obviously what they'll do is they'll retreat to this. They're gonna end up like getting rid of my Ogerpon. Like, oh, 3 games and I have been stuck behind the 8 ball. Call of Darkness 200. Throw away the Ogerpon. They could surprise me and throw away Crispin. Okay. This is insane. Oh my god. I just burst roared 2 games in a row, 2 turns in a row. That is disgusting. So
Get rid of the Noctowl. Yeah. So let me paint a picture for you right now. 2 electric energy, 2 owls, and an ace spec. And both of my area zeros are the price. Like, this is dire straits, guys. Alrighty. At least my Fez isn't prized. If Fez was prized, I honestly probably would have crashed. I'd crash out. Alright, that's beautiful. Okay. So I'm about to, like, ruin this guy's day. Alright, so that works. Beautiful. $420. Alright, so there we go. See, and this is like where I hate this, because I have this gone and I have this gone. So now we get in a situation where alright, let's see what happens here. I mean, maybe the most I can do is, like, just sit here and not put any damage on the board. This will be Energize. Devo. I would love to know what that card was. He's just playing to get it out of his hand. I don't hate it. Let's see what he does. Imagine it's a boss play. No, we're just gonna clutch. Alright, well, dude, I'm prepared to deck you out. Don't tempt me with a good time. I'm gonna hold on to this in case he tries to knock this out or knocks this out. Although probably the Teal Mask is the proper play if they decide to go for a knockout. But they're in a situation where, again, if they attack, they lose. And I've got one more card than you. I'm hoping. All of my gust plays are gone except my one boss. So it is quite literally going to be... It is going to be... Yeah, that's going to be... This is going to be interesting. Oh, Penny. Penny doing it into a bear. Well, if he does play Penny and he grabs that, then I kind of... Let's see. And again, you ever seen the effects of two poorly timed burst roars? Oh my goodness. This is insane. Again, if you just joined in, I had to burst roar 2 turns in a row. Having to get rid of all of these because I had a terrible hand. So, I somehow was able to play my way out of it. And here we are. Now what's going to be really dirty is if they go boss into something else and just keep clutching. The trick for me is I can't play any more cards and take any more cards out of my deck. There's a bear in that hand. At this point, I'm just playing just to get it over with. You know what? Your mother's a rabbit and your father smells like elderberries. I mean, look, he's even wearing a dress. Jesus Christ. That was painful. Like, that was legitimately painful. That was legitimately painful, and yeah, I can't stand that. Yeah. Do I want to go first? Yeah, I'll go first. Maybe actually I'll get a decent hand. Alright, that's much better. Is it though? Is it though? Man, I'm alright. I'm struggling tonight. Struggling for tonight. Cards just aren't falling the way that I need them to fall. But other than that, I'm fine. How are you? It's gonna put 2 Noctowl down at the bottom of the deck. Ugh. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that one bit. ult. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been a hot minute, man. I'm glad you're doing well. How's high school treating you? Yeah, so they're gonna attach, then they're gonna attack onto Monkey Dory. They'll confuse my Raging Bolt. And then they put me in a weird spot where it's like, okay, so. Alright. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Join DSC more than high school. Yeah, why is that? Alright, so there's another Lilies. They don't have any energy in discard. Alright, they get to do that now. And if you're just joining me, I've basically been hitting just about every bad matchup all night. So, this is welcome to the struggle bus, everybody. But no, I'm glad you're enjoying that. So we're gonna go Bravery Charm onto the Jealous, to the Frillish. It's gonna put it at 130. I'm sitting on pretty much a dead hand. Clefairy, that's cute. They're giving you coloring projects. My college teachers are giving me actual fun projects. That's crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy though, like when, just kind of like how just the different rigor. And that's kind of a thing that I can't stand with, it's a problem I have with modern, like just like high school and like public education, is like it's so watered down and so like cookie cutter. Alright, we gotta make a decision here. That it doesn't really push students. That's kind of like why, and it really depends, it's always really depended, like for me, like the class that I had that I could push. Like I was teaching a college class. Oh, okay, that's good. That's actually really good. Alright. No. Guess I could go. Do I got him? Yeah, I'm gonna go that. I'll grab that. That's interesting. That is definitely interesting. Yeah, it just sounds like they were just trying to give you busy work. Okay. I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, we don't want to put... And the whole reason I'm doing this for anybody who's watching, I'm trying to keep it as like a close to a single prize race as I can. Yeah, I don't want to give them... I don't want to give them a 2-prizer in this scenario. But then at the same time too, now that I have 3 prizes, I don't want to go to 1, because this deck also plays Counter Catcher, and if I end up going to 1 prize card, it gives them basically access to Counter Catcher for the rest of the game. Yeah, that's awesome if you can go ahead and get that done. Go ahead and like graduate early. And that's like the thing with it too, it's like... I'll tell you another thing though, like, if you can graduate early, do it. And having an AA is not bad either, because it kind of gives you options of like, oh, I have an idea of what I want. But if there was anything I could tell you is like, unless you're going for something that requires a 4-year degree, don't go to college. Like, it's just the way like colleges are now, like, they're just not the return on investments they used to be. And it just throws people into debt that they don't need. I already got offers for colleges and plan on going to Advent Health University. Okay. Good. What are you going to do with that? There's Monkey Dory. So my opponent's going to try to evolve their Frillish into a Jellicent. And then that's going to make things. Travel RN, yeah, that's the way to go. That is definitely the way to go there. I should have put that grass energy there. Wait, what am I... Oh my god, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is like, yeah, if you're gonna go for something that does require a 4-year degree, do it. But a lot of the times, like, you get people that come in and they don't have an idea of what they want to do. They hear about how fun it is, and don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's a fun 4 years. Just what happens is you have individuals who just don't have a clear vision of what they want, and then they get stuck in the system. And business, yeah, business, totally. RN, medical, definitely. Education, that's another one too that I would definitely say, hey, go get a degree for it. Go get a degree for it. Because a lot of times that's what you're going to need. But what makes it interesting, though, is this. Is that now you have so much stuff that, like, because the internet's so vast and the internet is as powerful as it is, like, it's, you have so much there that, like, if you really wanted to learn something, you could very well teach yourself. Like, the resources are out there. I know during, like, COVID and everything, I actually taught myself a lot of, like, about trading and doing stocks on the internet. And I don't do it really much anymore now just because life is taking many turns. So I don't really have that kind of freedom and luxury to do it. However, you know, early 2020s, yeah, Jones was all over that. And again, I taught myself that, you know. However, again, if you know that's what you want to do, and you know that it's, again, something that you're passionate about, go for it. Not going to stop you. Not going to stop you. Oceanic Gloom. Alright. Alright, I'm going to scoop this because, again, I've made terrible misplays again. So, love that. Love that, love that, love that. Tonight has definitely been the struggle bus night. Trying to get out of Great Ball here, but either misplaying or I'm just getting into bad matchups. Maybe they'll throw me a bone and I'll play against somebody with a Steam Deck or something. I don't know. Yep. Well, that's an interesting question, really. Still doing 8th grade. And it's weird because this year I think I've like the 8th graders as a whole are good, but they ended up giving me like some creative writing classes, and the creative writing classes are mixed grades, so it's 6th, 7th, and 8th. Shouldn't have done that. And the thing with them is, like, I think, like, the biggest thing that I've seen this year that's just really kind of really ate at me a lot is just the immaturity. Like, this is just a really immature group of kids that I've worked with. And it's very cynical. Like, I get like very cynical about it at times. And that doesn't mean that like I don't have oh, appreciate for the subscription too. Appreciate that, Gage. But I think if anything, what it is for me, like I said too, is just the fact that like this is a very immature group of kids, and I like it just makes me wonder like how are these kids coming in and like how are you being prepared? I had a talk with yeah. But anyways, like I was saying, oh yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I actually was able to get my Twitch affiliate status pretty quick. So, I think I started doing this in like late June, early July, and then was able to blow up really quick. So, now it's like it kind of helps pay the bills. Like the ads they're annoying, but it helps, you know, it helps put gas in the car, it helps get to work. So, it would be cool eventually to maybe like I just do this full time. But like I was saying though, with like the kids this year, it's like it's just the most immature group of kids I've ever seen. And like I'm just like, man, like how can you be so immature and like unprepared for life? And it's just something I sit there and I sit with. Like I had a pretty hard talk with a group one day where it was just like, you know, who do you look up to? Who's your role model? And who do you want to be when you get older? And do you really sit there and think about what that person looks like? And I mean, a lot of them are like, no, like I've never thought about that before. And it's like, you know, I don't expect a sixth grader to think about that kind of stuff. But like seventh, eighth, you got enough common sense that you can think about that. You know, because it's little kids, they're always like, oh, I'm going to be this when I grow up, or I'm going to be that when I grow up. But it's so many people get fed that lie, and they don't ever really stop and think like what it takes to be this ideal version of themselves that they want to be or they aspire to be. And it's good to have ambitions, it's good to have dreams, but the other part of that is the fact of, are you going to be willing to do the work to become that version of yourself? Oh man, I'm cooked. I'm definitely cooked. If this is what I think it is. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's a random person playing Terra Box. Yeah, I mean yeah, and that's what you're starting to see. It's like it's almost like the progression just like the growth and development just gets more stunted over time. It just gets more stunted over time. And it's not a good thing. Man, this is rough. This is another rough game. That guy had the nuts. Jeez, oh, man, I am just getting trunched tonight. That doesn't even help, too, that, like, They're glitched out. Love that. Love that for me. Just absolutely love that for me. I think the reason is because the kids get early access to technology and start rotting their brain. Oh, absolutely. Like, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It really does. It really does leave an imprint in them. And it gets to a point where... It gets to a point where they're so used to interacting on the internet. And, you know, I always joke, like, hey, I was raised by the internet, but me being raised by the internet is like way different than being raised by the internet now. My version of being raised by the internet is that that's where I went and hung out after school in the afternoons. Jump on there, hop on Yahoo or American Online, Instant Messenger, and like just go to town. Like that was my thing of doing that. And like early YouTube. And the cool thing about it was like, you know, when I was in like when I was like in junior high and high school is that like internet stopped and started like at your desktop. You know, we didn't have it in our pockets, in our phones, with us everywhere we went. And sure, you know, there were early versions of that, but it was not nearly as immersive as it is now. And then it's like you have parents raising their kids on, and then you have your parents like raising their kids on an iPad. And that's all this kid knows is just their iPad. And it is the most insufferable thing ever. There it goes. Alright. No, so it's like that, and then again, going back to the whole being early exposed to the internet, like year and a half? Oh my god. That's crazy. And what's even crazier about it too is like that stuff gets like they're not regulated. Like it's you don't have direct supervision a lot of the times, and the kids just watch whatever. And you know, there's all that stuff out there about okay. And there's all that stuff out there about like how dangerous and predatory like YouTube Kids is. That's even worse. Like, that's even worse. I feel so bad for that kid. Alright, we gotta lock in. Alright, get rid of the Psyduck. That's fine. Well, the other thing with it too is that there's also this study that's came out where it's mostly like with Coco Melon. Like, look it up. Like, there's I don't even mess with Disney Plus. There's something on, like I said, there's something on YouTube. It's a whole documentary about like Coco Melon, how like it basically like rewires kids' brains and it turns them into little like junkies. It's very interesting. I'll say that much. And it's a really interesting watch. What am I doing here? Okay. So we got that. Do that just in case. There's that. Oh, it definitely is. Just like all the repetitive things that they say and like they do, it's very creepy. It's very, very creepy. You know, I would even go like it'd be a stretch to say, but I mean like I would even say like to an extent, like it's almost like demonic in a way. And then it's like on top of that, there's also the whole thing about how the constant like changing of like camera angles and like frames also destroys that also destroys the attention span of like little kids. That's crazy. That's definitely crazy. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, anyways, no big deal. Randomly yells slurs at my teachers. Teachers only trying to get them off of their phones and headphones. Again, and that's the other problem with it too, is that, like, they're too distracted. And, I mean, the school that I'm at now, they've completely banned phones, and it's made a difference, but the damage is already done is the problem. Is that the damage is done, and you like you just can't get it back. Yeah, no, I've been there. I haven't been there like going on 2 years, and a lot of it was because the first one was like it was the 8th grade class that was coming up was like really rough, and like made they made like 2 teachers quit, and they had also, oh, that was stupid. I should have coming. That's rough. Alright, this is about to be real bad. Okay. So, like I said, the group of kids that was coming up were really rough. Put their hands on teachers, made a couple of them quit. And, you know, like my half year at Southwestern was rough. And then like the second year I was there wasn't so bad. But it was just like, I don't want to deal with another rough group of kids. And the other part of it too was like the infrequency on the pay of the infrequency of the pay was just insufferable at times. And like, yeah, it was pretty bad. I was like, I just don't have it in me to deal with that. And then, like I was saying too, the infrequency of the pay was just bad. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, but people do it. People do it all the time. And it's a crying shame. Psh, good move, dude. But no, I started teaching in Seminole. Like, I'm at
Middle school now, and like I like it so much better. Like it's nice. It's such a good like change of pace. Oh yeah, you definitely have to blame the parents. Like I've gotten to a point now where like I don't even like I don't even get mad at the kids anymore for their behavior. Like I get more upset at the parents than anything. Clutch. There we go. Got the win. Yeah, no, I get more upset at the parents than I do like at the kids these days. So some of them just don't even know better, or they've just not. They just haven't been properly raised right. Like they just hadn't, and you know, and people get mad about it and they think they do, but you know, perception's a terrible thing. Yeah. Yeah, I still watch it. I got dragged back into playing fantasy football, and I forgot how hardcore I take it. Yeah, the Kansas City Cheaters, yep. Yeah, no, like I said, yeah, I got dragged back into fantasy football, and you know, I've been enjoying it. It's been really fun. But yeah, like it's. But no, I kind of keep up with it. I just again, I keep up most with it too, um, and then naturally, like they're like, "Oh, do you keep up with basketball? Do you keep up with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I keep up with it." But it's just so. I think like with fantasy football, if I wasn't playing for money, I probably wouldn't keep up with the NFL. Like I'm just so disillusioned with like just pro sports and you know the bread and circus as if it were. You know, because it's just like when I take a step back and I just kind of look at the grand scheme of things, like you know, entertainment's good. Sports are fine. You know, it's the same thing with like TV and video games and stuff, but perspective and just how all of that just like plays into the grand scheme of like life and stuff. I don't, yeah. It just all at some point eventually it just like gets very futile. Yeah. What's your what's your record? I think right now mine's the way like the league I'm in, like it works. It's very interesting how it plays out. Like it's you get um like you get a win for obviously winning, but then like you also get you get an additional win if you beat like the median score for like the week. And that like varies week by week. So you never really are sure like what the median score is. So, and it kind of just also like eliminates ties and things like that, which is neat. So that's pretty cool. 4 and 5, that's not too bad. Had Scatabo and Dobbins, Tyreek. Whew. Yeah, you definitely got bit by the injury bug there. Oh, it's 6 man. Yeah, so what you guys cut to the top 4 teams or something? And what's funny enough is I actually have like boys going in and asking me like every day for like fantasy advice and things. They'll come up to me and be like, "Oh man, what do you think I should do with my roster? What should I do with this? Should I pick this guy up? Should I drop this guy?" And I was like, guys, can I manage my own teams? So now I've been telling people like I've basically have been managing like 12 teams. All right, so Genesect. Okay. I mean, he should be fine for the rest of the year, but I mean, like, if you get like Brian Robinson Jr., um, you know, he's typically like McCaffrey's backup, so you should be good in that regard, at least, to be able to at least like have some kind of insurance. Um, the situation in Green Bay is also interesting because Josh Jacobs hurt his knee and it's not sure if he's going to be able to play or not. So that would be one to keep an eye on. The Giants lineup since the beginning of the season, I think they should have started Jameis Winston over Russell. I was about to say Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson. Um, there is clearly something wrong with Russell Wilson, and I don't know if it's just his ego trying to get the best of him or the CTE starting to get to him, but there's something wrong with that guy. And I mean, if you went and you watched the Giants game, you know, Winston kept him in the game against a fairly competent Green Bay team. So there's some hope. But the biggest problem with it too is like Jackson Dart, he still plays like he did when he was at Ole Miss. And if you watch his QB camp episode with John Gruden tells him explicitly, you need to stop playing so aggressive. Like, take care of yourself. Because again, as funny as him and Scatabo are, like, you know, it's about longevity. And they're both playing like they're not here for a long time, they're here for a good time. And, you know, it was cool seeing them both play together. Like, that team was playing with some energy. And, you know, I hope they give them some help in the off season. And I think, like, next year they'd be really good, especially if Neighbors comes back. And maybe that O-line gets a little bit better. Yeah, I think... But I think also, too, like, Giants' biggest problem is they just don't have a defense. Like, they just don't have anybody to, like... They don't have a defense. Which is the biggest problem. This guy's just going to keep giving me, like, 2 prizers. Oh man, that's actually crazy. They're gonna be like, how are they gonna be like the Savannah Bananas? Oh man, I'm definitely gonna have to share that at school tomorrow. That's funny. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the day before the foot injury, yeah, that was crazy. That injury was crazy because he was on fire too. Oh yeah, no, they're hilarious. Like, no doubt. Like, those guys are, they are hilarious. Okay. Hmm. This guy knocked me out. No, he doesn't knock me out. I did use Prime Catcher. Switch, okay. I think that would be interesting to see, but I don't think he's going to go to the Patriots anytime soon. I mean, it would be cool to see for sure, and I think that just would be like a really strong team. And I think that's like another thing too, like New England like rebuilt their franchise in less than 2 years. Like, and a lot of people, not a lot of people realize that. Like, they very quietly rebuilt an entire franchise in like less than 5 years. And I saw somebody made a comment the other day about Drake May, how he's kind of like playing like the game's too slow for him already. I was like, yo, that's actually kind of cool. Okay. I think what I do is I just go do this. Just grab this grass energy. Just get teal dance. I'm about it. Like I'm about it. I always like the Colts. Like, I was really big on the Colts when Andrew Luck was the quarterback. I mean, I grew up watching Peyton Manning too, but I think really, like, that says more about Daniel Jones and like how bad New York fumbled him. Like, there's just a lot of really good things going on in Indianapolis. Like Jonathan Taylor, he got me like 52 fantasy points the other day, so that was like really cool. So that was really cool. And then 270. Oh, it's Mega Mall Wild. That's what that is. Ew. And they're not making it easy for me today, guys. There's that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. This guy should have retreated and attacked with Mega Mall Wow. Probably would have lost the game if he did. Yeah. I gotta get rid of all of this. There we go. Yeah, 52 is crazy. I can't remember who they were playing off the top of their head, but yeah, like he had 52 points. Yeah, because he was getting, it was like a PPR league, so like he was, you know, getting points for like rushing attempts and getting points for like catching passes out of the backfield and everything. So my quarterback is Justin Herbert, and I made that with the conscious decision that Herbert, I think, only threw like 6 interceptions, 3 or 6 interceptions all last year. And then his offensive line has just been kind of destroyed. So, yeah. I'll show you. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's go. Yeah, so right now I'm waiting to see if I can get Jacoby Brissett off of waivers, because the other guy I have is Jackson Dart, and Jackson still hasn't been cleared from the concussion protocol, so yeah. Yeah. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Dart, Taylor, Kyren Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Move this chat window over here. Move that out the way. Yeah. Yeah, so Dart, Jonathan Taylor, Kyren Williams, St. Brown, Emeka Ibuka, Cade Otton filling in on bye week, Dobbs, Alec Pierce, Seahawks defense, Evan McPherson, and then here's the bench. So Dart's my backup. And as soon as I had gotten word that like the Giants were going to start him, I just like went and picked him up. I originally was running with Caleb Williams for a while, and then I just like, I think he had like that really bad performance one week, and I just was like, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. So I like dropped him, and apparently I guess he's kind of doing somewhat decent, but no. If anything, this week, just depending how all of things play out with like Dart and his concussion protocol, we're gonna go Jacoby Brissett, but that's what I'm hoping. Also, Emmanuel Wilson, like I was saying earlier, he could be pretty good. Like if Josh Jacobs gets hurt, and then like I've got these other two teams. This team is not this one, but this team is actually pretty crazy as far as like it goes. And this is just like a random one I just did on the lunch break one day. And that one I just showed you was 12. It was 12 people. Like, it's pretty intense. Everybody knows what they're doing, and like it's pretty sweaty. It's pretty sweaty league. And like even like I sit here and like this thing finishes loading, I can show you that waiver wire. Like there's nothing on the waiver wire. Oh, absolutely. Like, you know, I have to bring the propane, I tell you what. These boys have to understand what happens when you don't cook with a clean burning fuel. You're gonna get the propane. I'll tell you what's another thing that's sad is like the longer I teach, the fewer students know who Hank Hill is. And it's like I'll sit there and I'll like drop that voice in class and they're like, who's that? And I'm like, oh my god. It's sad. It's a sad thing, but no, like this waiver wire. Hold on, let me add the healthy people. Yeah, like it's pretty empty. How to get my hands on Ibuka and Herbert? Very smart drafting is what I did. Like, I just drafted well. Like, that's just what it comes down to. Is I just drafted well, and I knew when to take them because I started. I'll show you. Like, I started in my like I started 10th. Like I started like the 10th. Like I started like 10th, like drafting 10th. Yep. Don't take my purse. I don't know you. Yep. So I was drafting 10th, and a lot of my strategy was, you know, just kind of giving up and like again knowing like the Jamar Chases, the Bijan Robinsons, like just knowing those guys were going to be gone and just accepting that. So a lot of what I did was just do that and then try to find guys that could catch out of the backfield. And I got a Mecca in the 6th round, which is crazy. I got a Mecca in the 6th round. I took Njoku too early. I should have got a better tight end, but I thought he was going to work out for me. Got Herbert in the 8th, and I guess just nobody was thinking about him. Kincaid, got him in the 11th. He worked out pretty well for me. Shipley originally was a throwaway pick. Woody Marks, he hasn't panned out like I wanted him to, and Cardinals burnt me that week. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically just kind of like what it is, but it was just really just all a lot of just homework and knowing draft trends and doing mock drafts and kind of like betting that like people would, you know, they would just go for the big names, which they did, and knowing how people tend to draft and knowing that like typically, and it's been this way even like when I was playing in high school, how is he available in the 8th round? Again, just trends. Like if you looked at like what people were picking, wide receivers, and quarterbacks were starting to go, but like I knew he wasn't like, again, like it just, I was fine. Yeah, and Emeka. And the thing with like Emeka though was like he was still a rookie and nobody knew what he was going to do. And like one of the things that you do when you're drafting is like you got to pay attention to the preseason. You got to pay attention to the preseason. You got to be reading the articles. You got to be reading like the rumor reports and all of that other stuff, because like that does have an impact. In the preseason they were talking about how like Ibuka was like doing really well and like coaching staff was impressed with him and everything, and you know it's so it was one of those deals of like I'm gonna stash this guy away and I'm gonna see it, like, and for a while there like Cortland Sutton's kind of cooled off this year. Who was the first quarterback picked? I think it was... I know somebody went Josh Allen. I think it was... Yeah, Josh Allen in the 2nd round. Which, again, makes... I mean, people have been doing that forever. Like, people used to grab Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, like, 1st round, no problem. And nobody's going to bat an eye at that because... he's Josh Allen. They were Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like, those guys are going to do what they do. And then with that, like, you just ended up just like, you just end up having to like make your draft strategy about it. And anybody that's came in here for Pokemon, I do apologize, but chat was talking about fantasy football, so I decided to pull that up. So make yourself comfortable. We'll get back to some games in a second. But like I was saying with it is if you draft a quarterback that early, you just have to like play your entire strategy around it. Like, okay, I know that like, do I remember Forrest? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Forrest. Yep. What about him? All right. Yeah, let's get back to some Pokemon. It's not bad. I mean, it's not a bad pick. But it's like a lot of those times though too with like players is that like eventually after a while guys just, you know, they get picked solely just like on their laurels and their accomplishments, which isn't bad. But again, you draft a quarterback that early, you just have to kind of like accept the fact that maybe you're going to miss out on like a good running back, or you're going to miss out like on a good wide receiver. More so running backs than wide receivers, because like wide receiver is the it's like the deepest. Oh, is it interesting? It's like the deepest position in fantasy. Like you can basically just like have like a couple, like you can, it's okay, like if you don't draft really well with like wide receivers, like you can fix that so much easier than you could fix like a running back situation where your running backs are bad. Dolphins beating Bills. Hey, blind squirrels find nuts every once in a while. Oh, sweet. Opponent conceded. I will gladly take that win. Yeah. So I think what it does though is like it makes it to where it just makes it to where like the season's more interesting. Teams are, I mean, it's like Bills fans, like fantasy wise, are going to be happy because then they're not pulling James Cook, they're not pulling Josh Allen like in like the fantasy playoffs. So as long as they're not fighting for a wild card, like if they're fighting for a wild card, that's gonna be like, yeah, I think they are fighting for a wild card because the Patriots are leading that division right now. I'll tell you somebody who I think is very sneakily good, but is really sneakily good is like is Jacksonville. Jacksonville, after watching what they did to the Chargers the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Tua just needs to call it a day, man. Like it's like I like it's so sad watching him play. It's so sad watching him play, and especially like when he just like constantly is getting hit and ran over all the time. Like it's just sad to watch. Yeah, it definitely is. He's just not playing confident too. That's the other part you gotta remember. But funny enough though, it's going back to Tua. Hey, look, there we go, scooped again. Going back to Tua, I read an article on ESPN today. They were talking about how like Tua could very well be a fantasy football like playoff hero, and I'm like I would love to believe that, but I just don't. Yeah, Mike McDaniel. No, Mike McDaniel is the epitome of lied on the application and still got the job. Like, he never striked me as a coach. Um, because the thing about it is like, he's like the least intimidating coach. And I get it, like, you're working with a bunch of adults. Like, you're not trying to intimidate your constituents, but um, like, you want to look like a coach. Like, you've got to have, you know, as the youngins say, you got to have aura, and McDaniel doesn't have that. McDaniel looks like he's constantly on some kind of like Miami Beach weekend bender, and it's like laughable. Like just looking at him. Ugh, that's gross. I'll hold off on that. I probably share a lot more than just the CTE, man. I can tell you that much. Alright, let's see what we got. This is Pult Noir. I'm gonna get Dreepy. Oh, okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, I totally did that wrong. All right, Gage, appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'll be streaming tomorrow night from like 7:30 to 10, and then yeah, And then every Sunday and every Tuesday. Appreciate you coming in, man. It would have been so much easier if I had just, like, went and rode on boss. If I had just done that, that would have been so much easier. Alright, so there we go. Keep that off the field. They're probably sitting on a lily or something. Now they got Fez. They're gonna go Candy. Nope, they're not gonna go Candy anything. We gotta get that Dust Skull down. Well, now they put energy there. I think I definitely need to get rid of that Dreepy is gonna be the thing. Yeah, we put an energy to it. If they didn't put the energy on the, if they didn't put an energy on the Dreepy, I would have went and got the Dust Skull, but they put that there, so there's that. Jamming Tower, okay. It's like I can just do this all day, man. Like, maybe they go. Okay, so alright. I'm glad I didn't commit to that Noctowl when I did. That sucks. Appreciate it, man. That means a lot. That made my day, man. Thank you. All right. Dire Straits. Love. Oh my god. That's insane. That. Did he just put... Oh, Neon Upper. Okay. I was wondering. I thought that was reversal energy. I was like, why is he putting reversal energy on him? Let's see. We're gonna lose all 4 of these energies. That's not fun. Alright. Free retreat, so that's good. I think I'm gonna go Fez first. Yeah, we're gonna go Fez first. And then we need to, like... I don't remember... Do this. So every little bit helps. And then I don't remember if I had... Okay, so I got that. So now I gotta remember if I have... I gotta remember if I have, gotta remember if I have another stadium, which I feel like I should have another area 0. Didn't check. Okay, good. Alright. So I should have this. Should have this. We gotta get Sada. And then we gotta get under depths. And then Glass Trump is just gonna come in just clutch. I'll grab here. I should have grabbed the bolt. That was a mistake. Should have grabbed Raging Bolt with that. I just do this then. And I'm not gonna play the Glass Trumpet because I already have game. There's no point in trying to slow roll it. Try to play some honorable Pokemon. There we go. And then we just clean up. And that was just tough. Like, my opponent just didn't get set up at all. Like, it's just unfortunate. Yeah, it was just very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So, there we go. Take our 2. And that's game. So, surprisingly, Raging Bolt into the Phantasmal Flames format. Still good. Still very good. And kind of like my rule of thumb, you know, if you're a first-time viewer or you just dropped in, first off, hello, how you doing? And thank you for joining. You could be spending your early Wednesday morning with a lot of other things, and, you know, you're spending it with me, so I appreciate that. But kind of like what I always say about any early formats is that, you know, for me, I always go back to Raging Bolt, just because it's a very simple strategy, and it's, you know, it's a very self-explanatory deck. And then as the meta kind of like develops and figures itself out, it definitely helps to then be able to adjust and be like, okay, this deck will be good in this format, this deck won't be. You know, and yeah, that doesn't excuse, you know, place testing, because we always need to be playing testing, but for me, typically, like, once I kind of feel my footing, like, yeah, like, I bring Raging Bolt with me. Like, I always have, like, a deck list for it filled out, ready to go. Especially, like, in these early things, especially before, like, a big tournament has been played with it, and we're just kind of running off of limitless tournaments and just City League reports from Japan, which surprisingly, I was looking at an infograph today, and I think, like, Raging Bolt again, surprisingly, one of the top decks over in Japan going on right now in the City Leagues. So yeah, it's a A-tier according to Omnipoke. So yeah. Gardevoir, Charizard, Goldango, Dragapult, you know, they're all going to get their flowers. I mean, they're good decks for good reasons. You know, don't need to act like they're not, but this one, quietly good. And I like the idea that if, you know, I have something that I can like one-shot megas with, I like that. I like the idea of that. Alright, so they're starting Latias, so that could either be Mirror Match, Miraidon, Megabox, Terrabox, or Dragapult. Since I don't know what I'm playing, I'm just going to try to keep this one prize board like this, and yeah. Alright. Oh, okay, we're playing this. This is probably going to be Mega Kangaskhan. Cute. That's interesting. No, it's not so much interesting, so much as it's... I'm just going to have to play smart with the electric energies. Yeah, I should have evolved one of those guys. Yep, I should have evolved one of those, but you know, I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I imagine they probably hide behind this Badoo. Or they're just going to commit to the Mega. Yeah, they're going to commit to the Mega. So... let's see what's going on. We haven't flipped. They haven't flipped yet. I'm not upset with that. Alrighty. They gotta get 5 energies. If push comes to shove, I just gotta use that sack one, I will. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the other owl. Don't like that, but it is what it is. I got the nest ball just in case. You know, I realistically could just go and use yeah, because I did use the Raging Bolt attack first. Grab both the fighting energies. Do this. Smoke them. Nice 3 prize knockout there. Yeah. Makes a lot more sense to play this Koraidon now, especially with that and Kangaskhan running around. Makes a lot of sense for it. Countercatcher Badoo, Countercatcher in, not in, I don't know. Alright, so they're gonna get rid of that. Alright, fine by me. Alright, that's fine. Puts energy in the discard pile for me. Yeah, I'm about to get Iono'd. About to get Iono'd so hard. What are the odds that they play Bear? Oh, okay. So there we go. All right, we win. There we go. Cool. That was definitely pretty good. All right. So it was a pretty good case there, yeah. I mean, we definitely got fed a good matchup. Koraidon's busted right now. Yeah, I don't know any other way to say it other than Koraidon's busted. Yeah, well, anyways, that's my time. I appreciate everybody that's came in, that watched. We'll be streaming tomorrow night around 7:30. Going to be streaming locals. Be